Good morning, boys and girls. What's up? Welcome in to the Divisional Round live chat here on BettingPros.com. My name is Matt Perrault. I'm the host of the Daily Juice podcast here every Sunday morning. What now? 21 consecutive? 20 consecutive weeks? It's crazy. We've gotten all the way down. 2 games today, 2 games next weekend, and 1 game coming up in LA for the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. We made it this far. I got annihilated yesterday, and I'm hoping not to get annihilated again today. If you had told me the Green Bay Packers were going to lose at home and the Titans would lose at home and both number 1 seeds would go down, I would have said, come on. I talked about it on the Discord channel before the games kicked off. You could have parlayed Niners and the Bengals. It was plus 684. On a 2-leg money line parlay. It was highly unlikely mathematically that was going to happen. And then I don't know what happened. Matthew Stafford today has to avoid, or I guess could continue this narrative of, oh my gosh, here we go with quarterbacks we expected to play really poorly and they played well. Garoppolo did not play great. He played well enough. All right. And Ryan Tannehill played horrific. So which one will Matthew Stafford be? Play well enough or play horrific? Because your quarterback play in the postseason, ask Joe Burrow. If your quarterback is elite, if your quarterback is phenomenal, you can very well find yourself advancing in this tournament. And the Bengals are 2-0 because they got a dude. And that dude's Joe Burrow. And I am done doubting Joe Burrow. I said, this is when it ends. This run, he did it at LSU. Why can't he do it at Cincinnati? That angle, I had it it's the NFL. You win 1 game, awesome. Let's keep the progression going. That's phenomenal. Step 1, step 2. No, they're 1 game from the bleeping Super Bowl. Unbelievable. And look, I'll tip my cap to anybody who came in and bet on the Bengals to win the AFC because you got a hell of a hedge opportunity now. I was trying to do that with the Titans. That's why I took the 5-1 on Tennessee, that I thought they would win 1 game. Because I come off of it, 1 game. Somebody said to me yesterday, you have to wonder, given the way they ran the ball without Derrick Henry, that having Derrick Henry available, was that a problem? They gave it to him on that 4th down play. They kind of force-fed him. He was tentative. He didn't look sharp. Did that hurt? Did that hurt them that they had Derrick Henry versus not having Derrick Henry? I mean, it's really remarkable. And the Ravens were one of the first teams that in my life, I'm 44, but I remember the Ravens during their heyday, the Ray Rice run, that team, Joe Flacco, they were the ones that always put special teams really high. They elevated special teams. And they made such big plays. And it was like, damn, that was incredible. Like what they were able to do. Niners and the Packers both have to go back and really address what the heck. I guess not the Niners, but the Packers have to address their special teams. That block punt, I mean, are you kidding me? Was huge. Blocked field goal. I mean, these are plays. These are losing plays. You get a field goal blocked. You get a blocked punt. And the Niners advanced, really, you could say, because of their special teams. I mean, it was Garoppolo did not play well. I mean, if you want to talk about like guys who made just a couple of plays, he made a couple of plays. And I felt like the offense in the beginning of the game with those scripted plays, it was phenomenal. But then afterwards, for whatever reason, there wasn't another wide receiver who stepped up after they took away and said, look, Devontae Adams is not beating us. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. And there wasn't anybody else. Like there just wasn't anybody else. And you wonder what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. He's 11-10 now in the postseason. He's 7-9. NFL Network, that's a stat. He's 7-9 from the NFL Network since winning the Super Bowl. 7-9, losing record in the postseason. NFC Championship game, Divisional Round, all losses, all at home. I mean, you have to wonder now, where does Rodgers go? Very cryptic message he said this morning or yesterday about his future in Green Bay as to what he may or may not be looking to do. And he is looking at potentially having a chance to play wherever he wants to play. I mean, I know Pittsburgh's dreaming. Pittsburgh fans are going, why not us? And that wouldn't be a horrible place for him. He would leave the NFC. He goes to the AFC. He goes to another traditional powerhouse, well-run organization with a ready-made defense, a good running attack, decent wide receivers, good young tight end. I mean, I think it's really possible. And if that happens, then Devontae Adams is out. And everybody here in Vegas has been talking about Devontae Adams coming here, which would be insane. They need a wideout desperately of that caliber, but I guess you got to find the coach first in Vegas before you find who's going to be the wide receiver. But Derek Carr played well enough to prove that it's his job. He's the guy. And now who's the coach? And the rumblings that Sean Payton may be out from New Orleans continue to get louder and louder. I never really bought the Jim Harbaugh stuff. I thought it was total pandering and total leverage to get more money out of Michigan. And I don't think the Raiders are really serious about giving him total control. I think he may be an option, but I don't think he's the option. But I mean, if you get Sean Payton and then maybe you can go to Devontae Adams and say, hey, come here. We're going to run a really interesting offense. You could be a huge part of it. Or maybe Devontae Adams follows Aaron Rodgers wherever he goes. And maybe if you're a Packer fan or you're a Steeler fan, you get both of them. You get Aaron Rodgers and you get Devontae Adams. So a lot of uncertainty with Green Bay following this loss. And a big tip of the cap to Niner fans. I love this Niners team. I do. But I got off the bandwagon this week. I got off the bandwagon a week too early with the Bengals and a week too early with the 49ers. So now the question is, what happens today? And boy, this is tough. The only game I really like a lot, I really do like the Rams to keep the game close. That's why I've teased it. I can see the Rams winning this game outright. My only concern, if I'm a Rams fan, my only concern is your secondary up against this passing attack for the Bucs. So I've teased it up and taken the under. 54 under. It's ticked up a half a point on the over, but I like +9 on the Rams and I like under 54.5 or 54.5 for this game today. And look, last year in the postseason, I got just destroyed. I had a decent wild card weekend, one up day, one down day. The way I've been going is up, down, up, down, up, down. It's been very strange over the last 7 days. It's like either going 2-0, 3-0, or going like 1-3 or 1-4. Yesterday, 2-6. The UFC, don't even get me started on that. I have no idea what I was watching. Like, that was crazy. Like both title fights was just nuts. But I look at today and I feel less confident than I did yesterday. So maybe that's a good thing that I'm sort of shaky because I was pretty confident. I liked both picks a lot yesterday with the Titans and Titans. I was willing to lay 4 with the Titans. I was like, yeah, I think they win by a touchdown, and they didn't. And then I teased the Packers down. The over was dead. So whether the Packers win or not, the over was never going to get there. I don't, 13-10 was stunning to me. I don't care about cold, but it was really cold, extreme cold. And those guys were fumbling and dropping the ball and just very poorly run offenses for most of the game. But I feel more confident, or I was more confident yesterday than I am on today. I like the Chiefs today at -1.5 to win this game. I mean, I'll lay the 1.5. I don't mind a money line play. I'm going to take Mahomes. I'm going to take Mahomes at home, and I'm going to take the defense to play well enough. Although I do think this is an over. I'm not going to officially take the over, but I am going to take the over. I do think that's going to happen, and I think there's a chance here that both teams are going up and down the field. First quarter over in this game, I'm looking at that as well. I haven't bet that yet, but first quarter, it's 10. Both teams score a touchdown on their opening drive. I don't mind that. Or at least 7-3, right? One team scores a touchdown, next team scores a field goal. I just don't see a defensive battle happening in Kansas City today. I don't think either defense is really good enough, to be quite honest, to slow down the other team. So I think both teams, you get scripted plays in the first quarter. Both teams go at it. I like first quarter over 10 in that game. I'm not going to do it officially, but I'll probably be on it personally on that. But let's just go to where the money is here for some of the books, and then we'll get into prop bets today for where I am. Okay, so FanDuel has got -3. It was 2.5 for a while. It ticked back up. It was 3, then 2.5. It ticked back up here now for -3. You got 54% of the bets and 52% of the handle coming in on the Rams. 50-50 action. Okay. The books did extremely well yesterday. Books today are going to be perfectly fine with breaking even. Okay. The amount they're in the black from yesterday is incredible. All money line teasers got killed. All point teasers got killed. A lot of props got killed. I mean, they did extremely, extremely well yesterday. So this day today, they're just trying to play defense, I think, and just say, okay, hey, we're fine. Let's just keep it as is and let's not go crazy. However way we get, if we break even, great, because we're so far up from Saturday. Sunday really doesn't matter. You just don't want to give it back. So they're 52-48 on the Rams. No shock there. Total 48.5. You got 68% of the bets and 62% of the handle at FanDuel coming in here on the over. That's very typical. No shock there. And money line, you've got a plus 124 on the Rams with 73% of the bets and 83% of the handle on the Rams. If you're going to subscribe to this idea that the Rams are going to win this game, I mean, people are going to follow the narrative, right? Both road teams won yesterday. Okay, both road teams win today. I thought there was a damn good chance that all 4 home teams were going to win. I didn't bet it, but I was darn close to taking a four-leg money line, all home teams, and say all 4 home teams win. Rams defensive line up against that offensive line for the Bucs. We're going to wait and see about Tristan Wirfs, okay? If they're down 2 offensive linemen today, that's a huge problem. Going into the weekend, if you had told me what 1 seed or what top quarterback goes home this weekend, it would have been Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is going to lose today, and I think Tom Brady is going to walk today. I think Tom Brady retirement talk is real. I think it's been leaked out by Rob Ninkovich on ESPN. It's in the Man of the Arena. He's talking about retirement. He may come back for 1 more year. He may say, this is my last year. But I think the end, Brady is really considering the end and thinking about when will he decide to hang it up. And a loss today to the Rams could be it. I mean, if he gets beat up today, that could be it. He's accomplished everything. And he brought a championship to Tampa, which nobody really thought what he was going to ever do in his career. So it just feels like all the injuries, the Godwin injury, the Antonio Brown situation, like it just feels like everything's going to kind of get into it and really cause a problem here. Let's talk prop bets for this game. I'm going with 2 on the Tampa Bay Bucks here. I think the safeties being out, amazingly enough, last week, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, how aren't you exploiting this? How aren't you throwing the ball down the field more and taking advantage of the Rams secondary was just not there. I couldn't figure it out. The Cardinals just could not take advantage of it. Brady's not Kyler Murray. Brady's going to take advantage of it. I'm going over Rob Gronkowski, 64.5 receiving yards. Okay. Going over Gronk. I think Gronk's going to be a big part of this offense. I think Gronk's going to pick up first downs. I think Gronk up against these banged up safeties, up against this secondary. I think it's going to be look over the middle, take advantage of Eric Weddle and whoever else they got out there and not make the same mistakes that the Cardinals did where they couldn't get the ball to Zach Ertz. I think Gronk's going to be a major weapon. I also like Gronk to score a touchdown today. I mean, Gronk to be in the red zone. I think Gronk scoring a touchdown, very possible. I think Gronk could have 2 or 3 catches of, 10 to 15 yards. And this gets here pretty easily for us here with Gronk. I think he gets 75 yards or more here. I think Gronk has a big game catching the football, in particular if they're down and they're passing. I'm not so sure that the Bucs are going to run the ball all that well here today. I mean, I just think it's really hard to run on the Rams, and I think they're not even going to try. I think, they're going to go down swinging. If this could be Brady's last game, Brady's going down swinging, and he's going to go down swinging to his boy. Rob Gronkowski over 64.5 receiving yards. And I got the same philosophy and the same thought with Mike Evans. And I'm going over 70.5 receiving yards for Mike Evans at a quarter unit. Both these bets, quarter unit. I know you might go the Jalen Ramsey thing and say, wait. Jalen Ramsey is going to shadow him. If you look at this, and I've been reading about this and listening to a lot of people I consider very sharp, and they break down the defenses. They don't really do that with the Rams. They don't really stick one guy on one receiver, and Ramsey is going to cover Mike Evans. Maybe in big moments, he'll cover Mike Evans, but it's not like he's only going to cover Mike Evans. And I just think Brady is without so many weapons that he's going to take shots down the field to Mike Evans. And we're probably gonna have to get this on like 3 to 4 catches. I don't think Mike Evans has like a 7-catch, 100-yard game, but I do think they're gonna take shots. And I do think Brady, when he gets time, if he has time, will look down the field and try to find Mike Evans. And he force feeds the guy. And I would too. I would force feed Mike Evans if I could. No Godwin, no Brown, unproven wideouts. You got Gronk, so you'll find Gronk. You got Cameron Brate. I understand that. You'll find guys you trust. And Mike Evans is a dude that Brady absolutely trusts. So I'm going over 70.5 receiving yards. I think it's going to be tight. I feel better about the Gronk one than I do the Mike Evans one. But I do think Mike Evans, I do think that comes in. I do think that we get Mike Evans over 70.5 receiving yards coming up here for that game. So I like the Rams +9 and under 54.5 on that game for 1 unit. I like Gronk over 64.5 receiving yards and Mike Evans over 70.5 receiving yards. All right, so let's go to the second game here, and Buffalo and Kansas City. I like KC -1.5. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the over is a good play. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth battle. Like I mentioned, I like first quarter over 10 points. I like over 54.5 in the game. I'm betting officially Chiefs -1.5. And I think Patrick Mahomes, who had 30 completions up against the Steelers last week, I think Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to worry about yards or touchdowns with Mahomes. And I know it's a lot of people are taking yardage and saying, okay, but I think this offense, we've seen this offense do the dink and dunk stuff. Okay. We've seen them in particular. If the Bills are getting pressure on Mahomes, he will look to turn and throw and check down. Patrick Mahomes over 26.5 completions. 30 last week. I think he gets a very similar number here. I mean, I don't know if the Chiefs are scoring 42 points today, but I think they're going to score. And I think they're going to score by throwing the football with Patrick Mahomes. And I think there's an opportunity here for, forget about how many yards he gets, just are they going to run the football? Chances are no. Chances are they're not going to run the ball all that much. I don't mind the under on the running backs for the Chiefs. I would lean towards going to the over on passing yardage, over on completions, under on the rushing. But I think the easiest number to hit, I think, for us is over 26.5 completions for Patrick Mahomes, given how many times they're going to drop back and pass the ball today, which I think is going to be a lot for Patrick Mahomes. And then the other bet that I'll make is a Dawson Knox anytime touchdown for the Bills. This dude's a problem. And I think it's a interesting number at +140 in the red zone. I mean, we saw it against the Patriots. We've seen it here, over the last couple of weeks, that when in the red zone, if you've got a scrambling quarterback and if Josh Allen is getting pressure from the Chiefs and he's looking around, his eyes go Dawson Knox in the red zone. He wants to find this dude open. I think it's a decent anytime touchdown bet for him to go at +140 to kind of cash on this. And I don't love anytime touchdown bets, but I think when you look at who is going to be targeted in the red zone the most, I think there's some problems. I still think that Chiefs secondary is okay. It's not great. And I think Knox is such a big matchup problem. I'm going to go with a security blanket play as to where does the ball go in the red zone. I think it's going to Dawson Knox. I've seen a lot of people like over 1.5 touchdown tosses, but the number across the board is now 2. I mean, the sharps came in so heavy on over 1.5 touchdowns for Josh Allen that it was -140, then -150, then -160. And now they just said, screw it, we're going to 2. And I mean, it's not a bad bet because you get a push opportunity, but the likelihood that any of these quarterbacks get to 3 passing touchdowns today, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying for a bet, I don't think I would jump behind it with a bet and say, yeah, these quarterbacks, either Mahomes, Allen, Brady, they're throwing for 3 touchdowns. That's a lot. 3 touchdowns in a playoff game is a lot. I mean, that's pretty heavy stuff. That's historic stuff that you can go, oh, okay, that's pretty impressive. But we know about the public money coming in on the Bills, but it's been the pro money that's driven down Kansas City. But almost every book across the country is heavy on heavy on Buffalo. The books are going to need KC. And I'm just like, I I got a 6-1 Patrick Mahomes at home in the playoffs. Only losses to the Patriots and Brady and the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. He's won every other game, and it's 1.5 now. And we've got 54% of the bets on the Chiefs. We've got 61% of the handle at FanDuel on the Chiefs, but that's not what the rest of the country is seeing. Hold on. I know we've seen reports from BetMGM that's got the exact opposite, that they are heavy on the Buffalo Bills today with how much money that they've coming in. Hold on, let me look at BetMGM here. So we've got 74% of the bets are on the Bills. Money line for Buffalo has gone from plus 120 to plus 105. I mean, if you go, look, I'm not saying the days are correlated because they're not. Okay, they're not correlated at all. But yesterday, I think a lot of people are saying bet the dogs, and this could be a day where you get chalk. This could be a day where you get a 7-point win out of the Bucks, and you get a 7-point win out of or a 3-point win out of the Chiefs. I think it's very, very possible. I think 34-31, I think a final of that nature with Bills and the Chiefs. Look, I'm throwing a lot of people are talking about the week 5 game and saying, like, does the week 5 game give you pause because the Bills went there and won? No, because I do think it was about the playoffs last year. It was a revenge game, and KC was trying to figure some stuff out. They really weren't this. I don't think they're the same team today that you're going to see. And the weather in Arrowhead, looking at a live shot right now, sunny, breezy, gorgeous. So Josh Allen's 0-2 on the road in the postseason. KC, DraftKings has gone to 2 now. Okay. So there's some movement there. Let me look at that. Is that true? According to the NFL Network, DraftKings has moved to -2 for KC. So there is some late KC money coming in here, which you would think. I mean, it's, again, you're telling me I'm getting Patrick Mahomes at a -1.5. It's no, now it's down to 1. It's gone the other way. Even more Bills money coming in. How about that? We're now down to 1. This game is going to close at a pick. I mean, we're what? It's 6:30 Eastern time kick. So we're looking at a 5-hour time frame between now and then. Yeah, I really wonder also how much parlay liability is going to run in. FanDuel has Dawson Knox at plus 195 anytime touchdown. I love that. Grab that there. Okay, I got it at plus 140. BetMGM's got plus 140. You get plus 195 on that. So get that. That's even a better number on Dawson Knox anytime touchdown for that. But I don't know. It's really interesting to see. Wow, so it's going down. The Bills, even more money here. So DraftKings and FanDuel must be seeing pros and Joes on the Bills. And there isn't really any big difference. It's not hard to move from 1.5 to 1. That's not hard. But it is interesting that the books were so happy with yesterday, even with Mattress Mac coming in and hitting on the Bengals. He had 1.1 million on the Bengals. He had another game. I don't know if he had the Niners or not, but he had a hell of a day. He had a hell of a day yesterday betting. He hit the books hard. And even with those big bets coming in and cashing, there was they still had a huge day because all that teaser liability, all that money line parlay liability all went out the window. So you just wonder, like, today, what do the books need? And so 44% has the Rams and the Chiefs walking away at wins today. Oh, interesting. 44% of the juice audience. I don't know if I trust the juice audience. I don't know if I trust me today, let alone the juice audience on this. That's interesting. Just if you are curious about the Bucks, this is a great stat from John Ewing, who works for BetMGM. Since 2003, when NFL playoffs teams become smaller underdogs, going from 7 to 6.5, they've gone 43, 18, and 2 against the spread. That would be the Rams moving from +3 to +2.5. So if you're looking for a Rams angle, there's your Rams angle. BetMGM's reporting the most prop bets right now for Chiefs Bills. Kelsey first touchdown at +900. Anybody hit that Derrick Henry prop yesterday? I hit that yesterday, but it was so tiny. I had like very little money on that, but it was +425. So it was nice. Travis Kelsey's anytime touchdown at +105. I had that against the Steelers in that cashed. I'm hesitant to bet that again. And then Josh Allen over 50.5 rushing yards at -115. I don't know. I feel like there's going to be such an emphasis on stopping that dude from running the football that I don't know about that. Like I don't know about that. I think we're going to see an under. I would go under on Josh Allen. 50.5 rushing yards is a lot in the playoffs. That is a lot of yards. I know you might say, well, Matt, he busts off a 30-yard run. He gets upfield and all of a sudden, the Chiefs lose containment and then there he goes. He's their running back. I would agree with that. I mean, Josh Allen is 16-9-2 as a dog in the NFL. So people are going ahead and rolling with that. But, I don't know. I am looking at by the way, the Bengals are still 7-1 to win the Super Bowl. 7-1. Plus 700 on Joe Burrow. I don't know. Everyone's looking for the next Brady, right? Everyone's been saying, who's the next GOAT? The only guy I've seen that I could even begin to compare or even say that looks like a guy who's going to dominate the league for a while, Joe Burrow's got the it factor, man. I am, if you're a Bengals fan, given how bad the Patriots were for all those years, how much they sucked. I'm just not saying that Bill Belichick and, Zach Taylor are on the same level. I can't stand the coach. But, look, I've been wrong before. I may be dead wrong about him, or maybe they win because of him. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase together in the NFL are going to be a problem for a while right now. I mean, really for a while. And I'm really interested to see what the Bengals look like next week. Most likely in Arrowhead, if I'm hopefully right. And if not, in Buffalo on the road in the cold, that would be something. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes against, the young, I'm not calling Mahomes the GOAT, but you know what I mean? Like the young stud superstar, everyone's it factor. How many commercials is Joe Burrow going to do in the offseason? Like how many? Like State Farm needs to stay away from him. Like stay away from Joe Burrow. Like do me a favor. Don't go near him. Don't Progressive, all these like companies that want to market the hell out of quarterbacks. Like stay away from Joe Burrow, please. Like let's keep him in the shadows for just a little longer. Let's see what this guy's capable of doing because he looks like he could be insane. And hopefully maybe his agency will say, yeah, let's not be the next, it guy. Let Manning do it. Let the Mannings do it. Let Baker Mayfield do it. Let, Patrick Mahomes, let Mahomes do it. Let, Aaron Rodgers do it. Like, just like stay away. Like stay away from Joe Burrow. Like let's let this dude develop because I'm interested. Tom Brady taking the field to walk the field like he always does. Brady wearing, I love how Brady now wears all the stuff he endorses. He's not wearing Uggs anymore, but he's wearing the glasses that he endorses, the jackets he endorses. No baby goats with Brady at this time, but we'll see. We'll see with that. Yeah, look, Matt Rafferty's pointing out that the offensive line, 9 sacks yesterday? Yeah, absolutely. Offensive line's just garbage. But if you're an offensive lineman, right, a free agent next year, and you get a call from the Bengals, you're going to go play with Joe Burrow? I would say, yeah, that's an offense I'd want to be a part of. 100%. I would want to be a part of it. So I think there's going to be an opportunity, like just spend all the money on the offensive line, right? Patriots did that for a while. Like it was just, they addressed the offensive line as much as they could in the draft and with free agency. And they just built up an incredible offensive line. Look at the linemen the Patriots drafted for Brady for years. And a lot of them hit. They hit on a lot of really good. Now that was also because they had the best offensive line coach in the game in Dante Scarnecchia, but that they built up to protect Brady. And I expect the Bengals to do the exact same thing, build up the offensive line, draft and bring in guys to protect Joe Brady. There you go. Joe Burrow combo, Joe Burrow. So I think it's going to be, but I don't hate the bet though. Just from a betting perspective, to take a plus 700 flyer right now and just ride this team, I'll be doing that. I won't do it officially, but I'll do it, myself to do that. Norm says the Rams very well might embarrass Tom Brady. The new group of GOATs to play today, Burrow and Allen, are legitimate like a young Manning and Brady. I'm not calling Josh Allen Peyton Manning. Nah. I'm not. He's a different quarterback. He doesn't have the arm that Manning has. Manning can't run like Allen. I don't know. We haven't really seen a quarterback like Josh Allen, to be quite honest. We haven't seen a quarterback take the leap that Josh Allen took. Josh Allen year 1, year 2 was like, and then he really has blossomed, and his passing has blossomed, and he's become, a much better quarterback in the last couple of seasons. And he's taken some very big steps. You can credit Brian Daboll for that. He's taken some very big steps inside that offense. But Manning came in as a number 1 pick overall and dominated pretty much quickly, got involved, got the Colts to be relevant. And so I'm not going to say that. But if you want to say Mahomes and Burrow could be Brady and Manning. So Mahomes would be Manning and Burrow would be Brady. Although Brady was a 6th round pick and Burrow was the number 1 pick overall. So kind of a little bit of a little bit on that, but just something to kind of think about. So, okay. So here's to recap where I am today on all the plays today. I am going in the early game here where I'm taking the Rams +9 under 54. You can get under 54.5. I don't think this game's going to be nearly as high scoring as people think. You saw yesterday, you saw how these defenses play, how the offenses are more conservative. I know everyone's jumping in here on these Cooper Kupp props. I don't look. I know Cooper Kupp might be a monster today. Okay. And if I was going to pick one bet to make on Cooper Kupp, it would be over 7.5 receptions. But I don't know. I mean, I think everyone is scheming up to take away Cooper Kupp and saying somebody else is going to beat us. So maybe you go ahead and say, hey, let's get after and let's bet on Odell Beckham Jr. props. I don't mind doing that. It's just game script wise, it's really hard for me to determine what the Rams are going to take, or so what the Bucs are going to take away and what the Rams are going to want to do. Akers looked great. I think they'll try to run the ball enough to keep that defensive line honest. But I feel like, man, this Cooper Kupp run at some point has to slow down a little bit. And in the playoffs, I think this may be one of those times. So I'm staying away from Kupp playoffs. I totally understand why people are jumping up and down for Cooper Kupp playoffs. Get it? Or props. I get it. I'm just staying away from it. I'm going to Brady up against this banged up secondary and really rough secondary for the Rams. I'm going over Gronk 64.5 receiving yards and over Mike Evans 70.5 receiving yards. I think Brady's going to have to throw the football. I think Brady will throw the football. And I think you'll find those two guys to be primarily his 2 favorite weapons. So I don't like Brady's numbers have come down, by the way, opened up at 295. It's gone all the way down to 284 for Tom Brady passing yardage. So the pros are definitely considering this to be a lower scoring game and a less of a passing game. 300 yards is 300 yards in the playoffs. That's against this Rams defense would be significant. The offensive line issue could be a problem as well. Can Brady get the time to throw the ball down the field? Can Brady get the ball out, given who he will be facing with Von Miller and Aaron Donald? Not going to shock me at all if the Rams win the game outright. Not at all. It's very, very possible. Rams money line, not bad at all. In the late game, I like Kansas City. I'm laying the 1.5, but you can lay 1 now here for KC. I do like the over in the game. I do think over 54.5 is very possible. Or 54 in this game. I think points. I'm going over Patrick Mahomes, over 26.5 completions in this game. And I'm going Dawson Knox anytime touchdown. You guys can get it at FanDuel. It's plus 195. Somebody mentioned I took it. BetMGM's got plus 140. You can jump on that. I think that in the red zone, I do think that you're going to see at least 2 touchdown tosses today for Josh Allen. And I think in the red zone, he will look for his tight end trying to find Dawson Knox. So I do like him over plus 140, plus 150, plus 190, wherever you can wind up getting those two, those two to connect, for the red zone. So if you find over 1.5 touchdown tosses for Josh Allen, I do like that a lot, but 2, I don't think there's value in 2. I think you're basically praying for a push. And I don't think that's a great bet to do that. I don't see 3. Okay. Any of these quarterbacks, I don't see 3. Mahomes, Brady, Allen, Stafford. I don't see any of them, but I'm just hoping that we get more entertaining games. The games were good. I'm not saying the games were bad yesterday. They just weren't that entertaining. We didn't see a lot of big plays. We didn't see a lot of exciting moments. It was sort of just, the cold in Green Bay was something, and the Titans, I mean, I can't say the Bengals really won the game, even though they got a game-winning field goal. It was more that the Titans lost the game. I mean, when you're in a couple of years, you're going to look back as a Titan fan. You're going to be sick to your stomach as to it's a tie game. You have the football, and your quarterback throws into triple coverage. What was that, Matt? I mean, Ryan Tannehill, what was that? Absolutely, completely horrible. Just a horrible, horrible lots. Ruben's asking, any thoughts on Fournette? Are there even props up on Fournette? Let me see. Surprised the books. Normally they don't put props up. Yeah, Fournette over 49.5 yards rushing. They do have Fournette props. Boy, I don't know. Up against that defensive line with a guy who's not going to be 100%, I would say under 49.5. If I had to pick, I would pick under 49.5 for Leonard Fournette. I don't trust that he'll, one, be able to run, and two, he'll be healthy enough to run. So that concerns me a little bit on that. So I would say under for Leonard Fournette. But Lady Sharon's asking, I'm starting to wonder if the boosts are just the books trying to get money on the other side. They do sometimes hit, though. This has been my philosophy forever. Look, you have to ignore the boosts, okay? The boosts are simply to get your attention. There's not any real there's not a real strategy when it comes to the boosts. In fact, there's a different part of the book. At most books, every book's different, but most books have this set up where you've got the risk room and you have the promotional room. And the promotional room is the one that sets up those boosts. They're the ones who come up with, how do we get the most action on this game? Is there a market we're trying to increase? I don't think it's a position they're trying to take. It's just the job of those playoff. That's why the books give you the sign-up bonuses and the deposit matches and bet $10 to win $150. It's why they do that. It's about volume, right? I not to go on a tangent on this, but I saw somebody being critical. If somebody works for a book who gives out picks, saying, I would never trust anybody who works for a book to follow their plays. And I've pushed back on that because the books don't care if the person that's repping them goes 101 or 1 in 100. It doesn't matter to them. What they care about is eyeballs and volume. You have to realize that the smaller books, the ones that aren't employing the quote influencers, they're not interested in volume. Okay. They're not. That's why, like, Circus Sports wants volume, but they don't really need volume. They want action. They want bets. Okay. They want to take bets. They want to take big money bets. So they're open for a smaller number of people, bigger bets. Westgate, in a similar way, they're not really interested in big volume. Now, in different states, the Westgate Superbook in Vegas is different than the Westgate Superbook in Jersey. Okay. In Jersey, they're looking to establish market share in volume. Okay. They want to get more and more people to bet. The three biggest books in the country are FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM. Okay. Those are the three biggest books. There are, I think, 15 other books fighting over the next 25%. Okay. To give you an idea. So the boosts are more about keeping you away from the other books. The boosts are more about a way of having you play. They want you to keep on playing. The one thing about sports books that people forget, it's still betting. Okay. What do the books want in casinos? Everyone knows this, right? The books want to keep you playing. The books want to keep you at the table. The books want to keep you betting. It's the same thing, the same philosophy when it comes to sports betting. They want to keep you engaged and playing. Ever stop playing for a weekend? Try that. If you've been betting, say you bet $500 a weekend, right? $500 a weekend, you're betting and betting. Try stopping for a weekend at the book that you bet at the most and see what emails you get. You're going to get a whole litany of emails. You're going to get deposit bonus matches. You're going to get free rolls. You're going to get boosts and all sorts of things sent to you because they want to keep you playing. They want to bring you back. So just always remember that. Always, it's difficult. I oftentimes say, I don't want to be on the side of the boosts. I don't. But the more that I've done this and the more that I've talked to people who work at these books about, like, okay, so what is that exactly? When you put up that play, that boost of you take somebody from plus 110 and make them plus 200, why are you doing that? Like, is there any, is it because you need the other side? Is it because you think it's a good bet and it's a trap? Blah, blah, blah. What I hear all the time back from these books is that, no, we need play. Like, we don't really care what happens. If it hits, we don't care. There's so much money on the other side or other bets. Like, if we take a red number on that one play, so what? We're cool with it, right? Unless it's something really crazy and everybody comes in and bets it. And sometimes the books can have that happen. I remember the tie, Raiders and the Chargers. Remember that? That's a different story, right? Because everyone was on one side. Some books did give a boost to that. Some books said, like, it was 400. Let's make it 600. Let's get some action on that because everyone's going to bet it. It'll never hit. It almost hit. that's when the books get nervous, because all of a sudden there's a huge like $1 million liability to one prop bet because they got involved with the playoff boost. But again, it's about if it lost, everybody's talking about it. So they make it back in content, they make it back in market share, they make it back in eyeballs and attention and clicks and whatnot. So yes, David says they just want us to gamble. 100%. 100% they just want it to happen. So, all right. Enjoy the games. At Sports Talk Matt on Twitter is where I am. I'll be on the Discord channel as well. Link is underneath me here on YouTube. If you're watching, you guys can be a part of it and get in, or bettingpros.com/chat to get into it. If you're here and have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. Hit subscribe so you always know when we go live. Next weekend, we'll be back for 2 more games. I don't know the plans for the Super Bowl just yet. I am going to LA to do my other job from LA on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I don't know what my Super Bowl plans are going to be. I'm not sure where I'm going to be for the Super Bowl yet. So TBA on if we're doing a live stream on the Super Bowl. So just FYI on that. But definitely next weekend for the championship games, AFC, NFC, Sunday morning live stream. Once again, if you missed any part of this, you can rewatch it, or I'll post the picks, the prop bets in the Discord channel coming up right after we are done. Talk to you next week for another edition, another live stream here on the Betting Pros live stream.